In the last video, I spoke about the spiritual realm and how the creator itself is duality or balance from within, a relationship with it from within based on feminine and masculine energy or negative and positive energy. So I wanted to do a quick follow-up on this video talking about duality or balance within our physical body. Our left brain is masculine. Our right brain is feminine. Our left brain is giving. Our right brain is receiving. Right? That's why in the Bible they show one hand up and one hand down. Jesus is always like this because the left hand is the receiver and the right hand is the giver. The right hand is masculine. The left hand is the feminine. Right? Based on his dominant side. And so that the same thing with the Kundalini awakening, right? You have the feminine energy, which is below, trying to rise up and reconnect with the masculine energy that's above. And just like that energy, there's a masculine and feminine energy with our left and right brains. Our creative side brain is receiving, wanting to receive the truth from spirit, receive the guidance, receive the love and the fun. And our right side, our left side of the brain is the logical and masculine side, which is the giving. And it wants to give, it wants to provide, it wants to come up with all the answers and solutions. It wants to know everything, thinking that it knows everything, right? But once you get your brain, both sides of your brain, in sync, that's when you truly understand who you are. You sync both your brain so that you have no argument between each other, and you start receiving the messages from spirit. And then you connect mind, body, and spirit. So there's many forms of balance even within our own bodies in the physical world. And then it goes all the way into the very beginning of the creator. Masculine and feminine, positive or negative. So I'll show you. So we've got two sides of our brain. We got the left side. Left, we'll just call it hemi. You guys know what I mean. And the right hemi. Right? And this is the logical side. And this is the creative side. And these, both sides of these hemispheres of your brain are on different frequencies. So they're not in balance. And so that's why your logical brain, that's why you second guess yourself. When you have a feeling that you know what you're supposed to do or what you're supposed to say or think, your left side of the brain interacts with that. So if you've ever had a gut feeling where, let's say for the guys out there, or even girls, you have someone that you have a gut feeling that you feel like something's wrong, that you feel like they're cheating on you. And immediately your brain kicks in, right? And your brain says, no, that's not right. You don't know that. You never saw that. And so that's kind of the argument between our left hemisphere and our right hemisphere is this side gets information from source when it's connected consciously, and this side thinks it knows who it is, but it's trying to provide. So another way to look at this is the left hemisphere of the brain is the masculine or the giver, right? And the right side of the brain is the receiver or the feminine, right? And so you might have seen pictures of Jesus where he has his left hand down and his right hand up. And he's not just doing this because he's using hand gestures while he's speaking. This is intentional. He's showing us that with the left hand is our receiving hand. We receive with our left hand. And that's the feminine. And the masculine is our right hand, which is up, and that's the giver, right? And so it's the same thing with our left brain and our right brain. The masculine side of our brain is the left hemisphere. That's what we call our ego, right? And then our right side is called our subconscious, right? And so just like Jesus' hand gestures, feminine receiver, masculine giving, that's the internal battle that we're having within our own brain to try to connect it onto one wavelength, right? Is that the masculine left logical side of the brain is the giver. It's trying to provide all the answers. It's trying to provide all the answers for this side and the rest of our body to answer all the questions that we need to survive and what the best solutions are. But the problem is that this side isn't connected to the spiritual side because we're not actually humans. Like our bodies are not our actual existence. We're spirits. So this side, the subconscious side, is when it's not in unison, it can't use the logic and the frequency of the brain to get connected to the spirit. So the subconscious is the spirit. So this one receives, right? That's how we receive our guidance from our spirit, is from the subconscious mind, right? And so when these two sides of the brain are not in unison, the creative side or the right side of the brain, the receiver, can't receive the messages from the subconscious or our spirit. So because this is disconnected, because these two are not in unison or balance on the same frequency, this side thinks it needs to come up with all the answers and that it knows all because it's the masculine or the giver or the caretaker, right? Just like in the household where the man feels like he needs to take care of his wife, right? It's the same thing. And so this side thinks it needs to come up with all the answers and take care of this side because this side is not able to connect without the balance between them frequency-wise. So I wanted to touch base with that because a lot of people just think that the Kundalini is the be-all, end-all, right? Once you connect the masculine energy from the base to the feminine energy from the base to the masculine energy in the pineal gland, that they think that that's it. They're enlightened. But you can't connect to your source without balance within your brain as well, right? Because this is both energy as well, masculine and feminine. And that's why our brains can't decide sometimes. That's why we question our own very thoughts. That's why we question our very own thoughts sometimes, or our very own feelings, because these two are out of sync from each other to work in unison. Once these work in unison and you're connected to the heart, you can, because God is eternal within, right? So this symbol right here, the all-seeing eye is God, and this is thy body is thy temple. So we search from within to find God, right? And so once we can get the brain in balance to where they're not fighting with each other, right? They're balanced, and we connect to our heart, and we have a heart-brain harmony, then we can use the knowledge of God and the receiver of God, right? From both to connect to who we really are. And so another thing that we need to know is that the heart is what starts all this. It's what activates all of this energy for us to start realizing the truth. You can't just go to your brain and think that you're just going to work to try to sync both sides of hemispheres of your brain and think that you're going to be eternally connected to who you really are and what your abilities are and what your knowledge is. You're not going to know any of that because it all goes through the heart. And the reason is because the only thing that exists is love. And the Creator is love, right? So I just want to do a quick follow-up on how the physical body relates to balance as well as the last one I spoke about, the creator or spiritually was balance. And this is another thing that we have to consider when we're trying to become who we really are. It's not just through Kundalini. We have to balance our brain as well because we're fighting ego or masculine and feminine. One always thinks they have the answers and needs to provide because one is not internally connected right now because this one's not trying to balance or work together. It's trying to always have the answers. So just want to do a quick follow-up. If you guys have any other questions, just comment down below. But hopefully I explained it easy enough for you to understand. And we'll see you next time. Namaste.